99, studio from 99. I've been making hustle plays, Dennis Rodman in his prime. Problems, I got 99, bitch, don't be one.
Hello, beautiful people of the internet. My name is Joel. This channel is NobodyEpic, and I make a living playing video games. I haven't had to perform a sexual act to put food on my table. I haven't had to sell my plasma to keep my lights on. And I don't know a lot about life, but I have had some life experiences. So in this series, people write their awkward or difficult life situations that they're having in the comments section. And then for the next episode, I'll pull one of those comments out, dissect it, talk about it, try to relate it to my life, and hopefully there's some type of resolution at the end. But I can't promise that. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor. Don't come to me expecting some life-changing revelation, because it's just not going to happen. But I'm only going to contribute ideas and solutions to situations that I've already had to deal with in my life. If you're having a problem with your LARP buddies, your mana spell isn't working like it used to, I'm not going to be able to help you with that. And if you don't know what LARP is, Google it. It's literally people who dress up in medieval gear and have battles in a park. It's in the movie Role Models too, if you've ever seen that movie. But I was just thinking, man, that's a different lifestyle. Or people who do Civil War reenactments. You know, if your awkward situation is that you're fighting in the Battle of the Bulge, and I don't even remember if that's a Civil War battle. I'm getting all my history mixed up. I like history, but it's hard to remember all that stuff. But yeah, anyway, so if your awkward situation is that you're a Civil War reenactment person, and one of the dudes has been stealing your gunpowder, and you called him out on it, God damn it, Ted, I know you took my gunpowder. I swear to God, I'm going to shank you with the knife on the end of my gun if I see you do it again. And Ted's like, I didn't take your gunpowder. Because he's a sassy little bitch about it. I don't know. I won't be able to help you with any of those situations because I'm not a LARPer and I don't do Civil War reenactments. But I can help you with things that I've experienced. And this is the case in this episode. Had a great awkward situation. There's a lot of dating stuff, and I don't really like to cover that because dealing with emotional issues of younger people when I'm at the ripe old age of 24 just isn't as interesting to me, because once you get past 20 you realize a lot of the stuff that happened before the age of 18 is just bullshit and it really doesn't matter, and I can't even relate it to my life nowadays. So it's kind of hard to put myself back in that headspace to try to break things down psychologically. But this issue deals with something that 18 to 24-year-olds would have to deal with. So I can put myself in this headspace, and I can share with you guys a story that I've never shared before because it happened kind of recently, but I'm kind of in the fuck it mood about it, you know? I could share it now. Don't really care who hears it, and I think it'll really help you guys. Actually, it won't really help you guys. It's just something that really interesting that happened to me, and I'll tell you how I dealt with it, and maybe it'll help this guy, maybe it won't, but here we go. Awkward situations. Boom! Check out whatever. I don't know what that sound effect was. Okay, today's awkward situation says, awkward situation, me and my friends are planning on getting an apartment together in college. Recently, my friend, who is part of the apartment, has been down a bad path, and by that I mean he smokes a lot of weed, and he's thinking about selling it. We don't trust him anymore, and we don't want him to live with us. How would I tell him that we are kicking him out? Okay, so I'm going to put myself in the perspective of the dude who's smoking weed. Dude, Flamin' Hot Cheetos. They're like room temperature, but they're still hot, man. How did they do it? Okay, that was a little over-dramatized, I'm sorry. But if I'm the person who's smoking and selling weed, and you gave me two options. Option A, have all of these roommates be honest with me and tell me that they don't want to be my roommate and just be straight up and say, yo, get the fuck out, we don't want you to be our roommate anymore. Or option B, have all these people slowly ignore me and try to weasel their way out of being my roommate and just, you know, have me try to figure out that they don't want me to be my roommate. That would psychologically really fuck me up. But I think it's gonna be more like that for this guy. I think they're gonna try to, I don't want to put myself in a type of trying to predict the future role, but we live in a society nowadays where just being straight up and honest with somebody is very difficult. And not that it hasn't always been difficult, but especially with social media where you can become so withdrawn, that's our generation, it's easy to ignore things. And I watched Aziz Ansari's latest stand-up special. I watch all of his stand-up specials, and I've seen him live. I'm a big fan of his, and he kind of addressed this issue, where nowadays it's easier to ignore texts from somebody, because back in the 90s or whatever, if you wanted to hang out with someone, you had to call them, and it's hard to say no on the phone when someone hears your voice and your reaction, and there's not really any time to think about it. Plus, you just didn't see people as much. There was no Facebook. It's good to go out and interact with people. That was all of your social interaction. But now, at home, you can get social interaction by browsing Facebook and seeing what little Timmy from the 3rd grade is doing now. Oh my, he's an erotic dancer. That was a weird turn for him because he was a really big football player, and I don't know how that relates to erotic dancing. But anyways, yeah, you can just browse Facebook and get all your social interaction while not having to put on pants or makeup or whatever. It's great. Great time we live in. But it's also easier to be withdrawn. So I've had this situation recently. Someone texts me. They asked me if I want to come out to a bar. And based on my career choice and what I'm doing right now, you guys might be able to guess that I'm not the most social person. I'm good at being social. I'm good at articulating my feelings and conversing with people. I can do that, but I don't prefer to do that. If you gave me the choice between Netflix and popcorn and drinks and social time, I'm choosing Netflix and popcorn all day, baby. Orange is the New Black Season 3's coming out. Let's get ready. I hit my chest. That kind of hurt. But anyways, dude who I know says, hey, you want to come out to the bar? And instead of saying, no, I want to play video games and talk to my imaginary internet friends, I just ignored him. And then I texted him back the next day and said, bro, crazy night last night. Sorry I couldn't connect with you. Maybe later. And then I'm just going to do the same thing later. But, you know, it made me look a lot cooler in my mind. I was just so busy. And I went to 3 orgies that night. Maybe in his imagination, he's like, oh, dude, Joel was at 3 orgies, you know. He probably conducting a parade somewhere or something. He couldn't hang out with me. He's cool. He's busy. I get it. But or he just thinks, man, that dick didn't text me back. I don't know. But it's easier to just ignore in this day and age, these times. So I'm going to share with you guys, like I said, a real life situation that I had that kind of connects with this. I'll tell you how I dealt with it, and then hopefully there's going to be some type of resolution. But I really just feel like I'm rambling and going nowhere. Here we go. My situation. So, similar to this, I had a roommate who sold drugs and smoked weed, but he did it after we moved in, right? So that makes it a little more difficult because if you're not vibing with that person's lifestyle after you already sign a lease, it's kind of hard to get out of it. So anyways, this was after I started YouTube as a career, as in I quit all of my other jobs and I was just working from home. And he was, selling drugs, smoking drugs, party on, whatever. It wasn't like a Walter White Breaking Bad kingpin type of situation, but it was a little small college drug selling thing. And one night, I'm playing GTA with my friends. I think it was GTA 4 at the time. I don't think GTA 5 was out yet. And it was probably 3 a.m. And so I assume everyone's asleep. I just got a notification on one of my mobile devices. Sorry about that. But I assume everyone is asleep, and I'm just alone playing video games in my room at 3 a.m., like normal. And then I hear this really loud, how would I describe it? Like a punch sound, right? And I just think to myself, this is literally my thought process, oh, somebody got upset and punched a wall in. Typical college stuff, right? You got Bob Marley posters, you got ramen noodles, and people who punch walls in because they get upset because they're emotional college kids. That's college stuff. I don't know. I just ignored it. And then I play for 3 more hours, so I come out at 6 a.m., come out of my room to go get breakfast because I was hungry, and those were my hours. I would sleep all day and play all night. And this roommate is freaking out because somebody broke his truck. Sorry, I just heard a car alarm go off, and I still hear it going off. And now I'm associating the word truck with trunk. They broke the lock on his trunk and opened it up and took out like $3,000 cash and some of his drugs that were also worth money that were inside of this trunk, right? And he's freaking out because he's like, well, we can't call the police because I can't say, hey, they stole my drug money trunk, but he also needs that money because that's his income. So that's not good for him. And I'm just like, well, fuck this. I'm eating Eggo waffles. I don't even want to deal with this bullshit. And I dealt with it by moving out 3 or 4 days later and taking a huge loss on my rent. I think that cost me $2,000, breaking a lease and whatnot. I don't know. It was something where I could have dealt with it legally in the apartment complex. And I remember it was just a really annoying time for me. I guess I was really moody about it because I thought it was stupid. There's a whole bunch of circumstances I could get into the reasons for it, but I won't, Anyways, I should have never moved in there in the first place, probably. I don't really know how to deal with that situation differently other than, like, beat the shit out of someone. No, I'm not. I'm really passive. Come on, man, don't sell drugs. I don't know. There's a lot of things I could have done differently, but I would just recommend to you, I don't think that marijuana culture and smoking weed is inherently bad. I think it's something that's going to become more regular in society going forward, and we can explore the medical and industrial aspects of cannabis, and hopefully it turns into a positive thing. Right now it obviously has a really negative vibe around it, and it's illegal still in most parts of the country, so it's considered an illegal activity, although I don't think it should be illegal. It's a whole different discussion. If you're not feeling living with this guy, you gotta just tell him. And if he's gonna dislike you for it, that's fine. But would you rather have him dislike you and have your living situation be good, or have your living situation be bad and this guy's still okay with you, right? It's not worth a couple of weeks of uncomfortableness or whatever, and then he's probably just not gonna talk to you again, and then your living situation is great, versus a whole elongated period of a living situation that's terrible. You cannot be uncomfortable and unhappy in your own home. That's just not something that you're going to enjoy. I can 100% guarantee it. If you don't want to live with Snoop Doggy Dogg here, you gotta let him go. You gotta do it with your friends, though. Don't just have it be you. You gotta have it be a group. So he doesn't just hate one of you. He has to spread his hate amongst the group, and then, I think it's, let me see, is it just you? No, I think you're living, yeah, we don't want him to live with us, is what you said. So if he has to spread the hate among a group of people, it's going to be less hate per person. So that's really good. Be straight up with this dude. Tell him, can't live with you. Sorry, you're going to have to go sell weed somewhere else. Start your weed empire, Walter White. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this situation and this episode of Awkward Situations. Leave your awkward situations in the comments. I understand if it's emotional relationship stuff. I could try to get into that mindset, but I really like things like this that I can relate to, and I had a good story for, so hope you guys enjoyed that story. The robber was never caught who stole those drugs and money. We have no idea how he broke into the apartment, and I'm forever scared and paranoid of somebody breaking into my apartment and opening a trunk I have, or invading my anal regions or something. I don't know. No, actually I'm fine, but it's something that I think about sometimes. Like, fuck, what if that guy had a gun and I would have walked out and said, hey, what was that loud noise? Bang, 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 I'm dead. I don't know. Anyways, hope you guys have a great day. Bye.
Feeling like the weed man, D1 shot, kill the beat, then the D done. Booth kicking so much heat, I don't need sun. Vibing like a damn cell, listening to beats, face scrunch like a bad smell. Wifey on my case, wifey on the back shelf. Girls by the dozen out west, they the Pac-12.